What is going on, guys? And thank you for watching the proxy semifinal here between Bizzaro and Kugel. Now, those of you that are been following RDIL, you know that this is the essentially play-in match to the final because we had some circumstances regarding somebody being unable to play. So these are actually our two losers in the semifinals. So what normally would be a third place match is now a play-in match to the finals. And I'm excited to bring you here some exciting PvP action. I didn't even introduce the players, so I was too busy. Anyway, in the bottom left-hand corner, the green Protoss player, it is Bizzaro. And his opponent up in the top right is the teal Protoss Kugel. So both these guys, veterans of the RDIL, and they've actually played each other. This will be 3 for 3 every season. Kind of traded blows, as it were. I think season 1, Kugel actually knocked Bizzaro out 3-2. Oh my gosh, he's taking a hidden base. Okay, Bizzaro, I see you. So that was season 1. Season 2, I don't think they met in the bracket stage, but I remember they met in the group stage, and Bizzaro actually took that one. So these guys, both solid Protoss players, both very different Protoss players, but they've got a storied history of hitting each other in PvPs, and I'm hoping that this is going to be an exciting another chapter in their little dynamic of battles. Just so you know, this is being cast from replays, so I'm going to be throwing my overlay up in between matches, just so, you know, nothing is spoiled. But so far, I mean, you gotta say, Kugel's opener is a lot more standard, right? He's going for, you know, saturating the main, Stalker Sentry opening that lets you get, you know, the defensive capabilities of the Stalker, along with the Sentry for a fast hallucination. Across the map, Bizzaro started his warp gate a lot later. He went up to 2 gates a lot later, and obviously, he just finished a Nexus on the right half of the map. So that ain't standard, man. That ain't standard. But that's what makes Bizzaro fun, is, you know, standard isn't really his ballpark. Where did that Stalker go? Okay, so this probe miraculously actually escapes. And taking a look at the probe count, it is 27 to 25. So again, because I'm casting this from replay, I can't do it with Game Heart. Especially because these are old, not like old patch, but like they did some random patch that didn't really affect the game. Oh, it was the blink change probably. And thus I have to cast this from replays. Oh my gosh, Kugel, smelling something fishy. Scouts that hidden base, and that is that's suboptimal. It really is, because Bizzaro's tech, his own regular natural, everything is delayed, and this base is great when, you know, nobody knows where it is, but, you know, if Kugel knows where it is, it's going to be pretty easy to pressure, and that can be the downside of, you know, being Bizzaro and facing somebody who, you know, has a lot of experience with you. Like I said, Bizzaro's not afraid to do something crazy, like rush up to, you know, carriers, or, you know, take that hidden base on the other side of the map. He's done it before, and he's done it successfully before. But the problem with that is, you know, Season 3, you're playing somebody that knows your play a little bit better, and they know what to look out for. Now, Kugel has seen this. He's not really reacted to it at all. I guess there's a Warp Prism coming out now, so I would expect that to be for the purpose of getting some aggression done. I would expect. Meanwhile, back here we got Bizzaro getting up his own Robo, so Twilights for both players, but the Robo significantly ahead for Kugel. He's already got an Observer, he's already got a Warp Prism, and he's getting out an Immortal, and here comes Blink. Bizzaro's favorite upgrade in the game, and he's darn good with it. He's going to get him some Blinky boys. Oh, but there's nothing in this. Let's see, he's going to warp in Zealots, I guess? Yeah, 2 Zealots. Inexpensive, but will shut down the space. It does not have a recall. It can't bring over, you know, any of the stalkers. They're going to have to go the long way, and that means that all of this mining will get disrupted along with a few of these probes going down. 5 in total. Taking a look, Bizzaro is massively ahead in the probes. He really is. It's 36 to 50, but he's a lot more spread thin. And, you know, with the supplies, oh, great pickoff on that Warp Prism, and actually 2 Stalkers, too. But at the same time, right, all he's really got for now is a few Stalkers. He does not have Blink yet. His own Immortal is, it's not out yet. And when you're powering probes this hard, you know, you're not gonna, and especially with the Nexus 2, you're not gonna have the army. And here comes Kugel. He's gonna pressure this base, and I think he's gonna be very successful. Only Stalkers versus a similar number of Stalkers, but also an Immortal. Immortals eat Stalkers for breakfast, especially since we're 40 seconds away from that Blink being done. Triple Forge coming up for Bizzaro. He's committing to this, you know, late game, and he's committing to it hard. This pylon goes down, and here come the force fields. There's a recall coming in. We'll have to see what comes in on it. But, so it's 2 more Stalkers. It's 2 more Stalkers, but actually another Stalker joining the fray here, also from Kugel. And it looks like the Sentry might get picked off, and even the Immortal maybe. Oh, no, you want to keep that alive, Kugel. Oh, does he get it? He gets it, but right away another Immortal joins the fray. And to get that, he took a bunch of pot shots on his own Stalkers. All these probes going down. 7 in total, and he is forced away from the base. Now, Blink has finished up here for Bizzaro, so obviously that's a massive plus for him. But charge is done for Kugel, and I feel like he might just keep his foot on this aggression pedal. That base goes down. Bizzaro instantly remaking it at his own third. Sorry. Change that a little bit. There's the Templar Archives and the Singular Forge. Now, obviously, Triple Forge, you know, is good. You know, if you can get away with it and you just get like triple upgrades, right? Like having more upgrades is never a bad thing. However, I do think that the +1 attack is overwhelmingly the most useful of those, and I think Kugel on his single forge is going to get the +1 attack. So if he can do that, and then maybe put the resources that Bizzaro puts into the, you know, slightly less important ones into, you know, faster Archons and maybe more Immortals, he might be able to open up a timing for himself where, you know, maybe he chrono boosts and is even on attack upgrades and only behind on the other ones, but he's got a unit advantage. But we're going to have to see. Archons are already coming out here from Kugel. Taking a look at Bizzaro's base, he is about to finish up that third. Actually, both their thirds are about to finish up at around the same time. Taking a look at the probe count, it is dead even. So this game has actually normalized pretty hard. 2-2 and a second robo starting up here from Bizzaro. But we're going to see a little bit of a push. Actually, it looks like he's going to split off the War Prism into the main and drop some Zealots while he pressures the third. Always a good decision. But charge is done, and that's a lot of Zealots. Probably too many Zealots here for Bizzaro. If he wants to get anything done, Kugel, he does need to split this army in half. And hopefully for him, that's what he can get done. But he's actually going in before he warps in the main. That's a very questionable decision. He does have this Archon, which is going to give him a massive advantage in the Zealot Wars, that Archon dishing out tons and tons of damage. But the Warp Prism in the back is not warping in yet, and with defensive warp-ins here, Bizzaro might just crush this army. Here come the Zealots, though. They are just diving into the main base. It looks like that army does pretty much get cleaned up by Kugel. Or did it get recalled? It gets recalled, but loses a lot of it. And, you know, I think this was just too disjointed. I really liked the idea of, you know, warping in and then going to attack, but he attacked in, kind of did a bunch of the engagement, and then warped in. I feel like you need to get reverse the ordering a little bit of it there. Ideally, you know. Oh, and even rallies an Immortal into Zealots. That is super unfortunate. Like I was saying though, you really want to get pull the Protoss player out of the way with the Warp Prism attack, and then you know go back in with go into the third with the army, so that damage is being dealt while you engage, while you're forcing your opponent to make decisions on how he wants to split up his units. But Kugel still does have a massive Archon advantage. By Archon advantage, I mean he is going to have, what is this, 4 and then 5? And once these, oh, actually, well, here come 3 and 4 Bizzaro. So evening up that deficit a little bit. But the thing is you know, those, well, what are you doing with this Immortal, buddy? What are you doing with this Immortal? Nope, there you go. 4th base is coming up for both of these guys, but the Archon count really is so important. Just because, ooh, hallucinating a Colossus even. You know, once those Zealot counts get up there, and we see that Bizzaro's isn't the highest, he's got more Archons and Immortals. But once the Zealot count really gets up there, those Archons become invaluable, because Zealots, if left unchecked, are so strong, like, so strong. But that's why you got the Archons. They're really, really good, especially when you get those attack upgrades at clearing out the Zealots. We have a great vision spread here from Bizzaro. He's got observers everywhere, but here comes Kugel with the fake Colossus attack. Unfortunately, that is going to expire. Tip in his hand, that is not real. He's going to warp in 4 more Archons and 2 Zealots, and I really think he needs to go to this other attack path. Maybe Bizzaro, if he gets out of position here, will let him up this ramp, but I would never really want to be attacking up this ramp when you can kind of get into this spot and, you know, maybe send a few Zealots into the natural while you hold the low ground, and it looks like that might be what Kugel is going to try and do. Oh. No, it looks like he's going to rotate around. Oh, Kugel, you don't want to go up that ramp, bro. You don't want to go up that ramp. That is a crazy spread from Bizzaro, and he's got a supply advantage, and yeah, I think Kugel realizes pretty quickly that that was a mistake. His Archons kiting back and are taking out Zealots pretty effectively, but the start of that engagement did not go well for him. However, now he's kind of the one with the concave, and Bizzaro's Archons are stuck out front, and the Archon advantage still is in Kugel's favor. Warping in more Zealots now that is necessary. They have been all but depleted. And, you know, I think I like this for Bizzaro. Like I said, I think that it's risky to go for the triple upgrades, but he's really gotten through the part of that game where it would be super advantageous for, or if there was a window for Kugel to capitalize on that, I think it's pretty much over, because now Kugel's going to be on 3-3-3 versus +2. And, you know, like I said, those attack upgrades are definitely by far the most important, but +3 armor, +3 shields, you know, it's going to give you an edge. When you have the same army or a very similar army, that is something that can give you an edge. Again, Kugel's going to dive on into the main with the Warp Prism. Immediately warping in is Bizzaro. Very quick reactions. You love to see that. But there's not enough Stalkers here. 2 Immortals pop out, but there is a recall splitting off some of the units. But that means Bizzaro's army is a little bit trapped here. He recalled some of it home, and he's going to go and try and take out this Nexus, but here's Kugel collapsing on him from behind, and now it's Bizzaro who's the one in a little bit of a tricky situation, and keep in mind, he just used that recall to get out of there. The Archon's diving in, trying to get maximum splash damage on all the Immortals, and this whole army is going to get cleaned up. That's so many Immortals and Archons that go down in a very advantageous trade for Kugel. Where are his probes dying? Oh, they died at the 4th. So 9 probes do go down, but I think that was exactly what Kugel needed. Taking a look at the probe count, Kugel is up on supply, and he's down about 15 workers, which means he's got a massive, massive army, and I think he can go make something happen right now. Currently, there are no Archon, or 1 Archon on the field for Bizzaro, which means that, you know, when it comes to who's going to win the Zealot war, these Zealots, considering the Archon counts, are almost inconsequential, considering how far he's no longer down in Archons, because there's 4 more Archons. So Bizzaro able to remake that that army very, very quickly, which is very, very good for him. We are seeing a Colossus and a Disruptor coming out for Kugel. I think the Colossus might be a misclick. But Disruptor's a very good transition. Normally you're going to want Phoenixes to deal with these, because you can lift them up and cancel the Nova, but, you know, the thing about Disruptors is it only really takes one, like, full money hit to, like, swing the fight in your advantage a lot of the time. You know, if you have a similar army, you blow up 7 Zealots, or you know, take half the HP off of all the Archons, like, it's a big deal. Oh, and Bizzaro actually rotates out right as Kugel rotates up, and I've got the high ground now, Anakin. What are you gonna do? Bizzaro believes in himself. As I jack memes from IEM, he focuses down the next. That's a huge hit with the Disruptor. It's center mass on all of the Immortals. But now he needs to retreat. He's got a smaller army. He's going to kite back while killing Zealots the entire time. There is another Disruptor. It's actually going to fire on in here. Oh my gosh. Oh, not as big a hit as it could have been. This Colossus is out now. Are there more Disruptors? There is one more, and Kugel's got to play the retreat game. You know, if you can keep that army at max range and just keep firing Disruptor shots, you are going to be in a great spot. But taking out that third base, really great damage. Bizzaro is reestablishing this base that he initially took now, but still, I think that taking a look at the income, yeah, for right now, there's a little bit of an advantage for Kugel after he takes out that third, and oh my gosh, are these armies going to rotate past each other again? It looks like just maybe Bizzaro's going to dive at the fourth base. But here come the Disruptors. They're firing all their shots, and they are going for the Archons, and they get some pretty decent hits. A really great flank here by Kugel. He's going to be able to warp in Zealots on the side as well. A cannon even helping out, and everything looks to be going down for Bizzaro. Only these Immortals left, and keep in mind, this will be the second time that he's had his Immortal count reset, and you just can't really afford to have that happen. Those Immortals are so expensive, so powerful, but they cost so darn much, and once again, Kugel's gonna reset the army of Bizzaro. No, so he did mean to do Colossus, because he's actually getting 2 at a time with the Thermal Lance now. Looks like Bizzaro is, just with that massive economy, remaking that army so quickly. 2 at a time Immortals, you know, really pumping out those Archons and Zealots, and I don't know, it looks like Kugel might be able to establish for himself the higher tech army with these Colossi. But I'm not sure how much I like the Colossus. I guess they can be very, very strong against Zealots, but so are the Archons. It might be a little bit redundant. Here comes Bizzaro. He's gonna just smash into this fourth base of Kugel. And oh my gosh, the Zealots all clumping up in a line, and when things are in a line, that's just absolutely perfect for the Colossus, but a Disruptor shot blows up 3 Archons. 3 Archons, and once again, a fight at almost the exact same spot is going to reset the army of Bizzaro. Taking a look at the units lost, actually, not more even than I thought it would be. But Kugel has to know that he can go, and he can go now. So many times he's reset this Immortal count, reset the Archon count, and now that he's got these Colossi as kind of a stabilizing agent, I feel like he has to go get some pressure on. Bizzaro has got so many bases that he can just keep remaking armies and throwing them at Kugel. And I feel like Kugel needs to make something happen here and, you know, get on top of the production and say, hey, hey, hey. Or get on top of these outside bases and just say, no, like, I can't afford to let you remax on Immortal Archon Zealot. Once again, here comes the big engagement. Huge Disruptor shots coming in, blowing up half the Immortals and damaging the other ones. And I think that Kugel can do this if he just puts his foot on the gas pedal. He's going to wipe out all of these Immortals. So 2 more did join the fray, but really only just Zealots left, and Zealots not going to be able to handle the firepower that is the Archons and the Colossus. GG is called. And we are going to go on to the next game. Throw up my overlay. almost forgot to... Oh, jeez. That's a pretty big goof by me. Hopefully nobody saw that, if you don't want spoilers. Sorry. So a quick note. I just realized I don't actually have the game to replay, but I'm almost certain that Kugel did win that one. So our score right now is Kugel having Bizzaro at match point here in this best of 5. As we go into blue shift. Bottom left is Kugel. Top left or top right is Bizzaro. And we're gonna see what these mad lads have in store for us here. You know, we saw a pretty solid macro game between the two of them. You know, both of them kind of strutting themselves. They both look pretty strong in PvP. Clearly both very different stylistically, but hey, that's what makes it fun. Probes crossing each other closer to Kugel's half of the map than Bizzaro's. And it looks like we're seeing standard openings from both these guys. Yeah. No sign of a Nexus from either player yet. And so they're actually, no, it's too early. I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Cybers are finishing up. We're going to see what the units of choice are. It is going to be Stalker, Stalker, and Stalker, Stalker. Definitely more aggressive. Neither player opting to get that fast sentry. And hello, how are you? How you doing? That's a proxy pylon. We'll keep our eye on that. But in the meantime, we're going to see what Kugel goes for. It's going to be a robo and a gateway, which means 3 gates and a robo on one base. That spells aggression. And meanwhile, it is going to be a proxy Twilight here from Bizzaro, along with a gateway. So, likely Blink, given the position of the proxy. You know, if it was DTs, it would probably be over here or even in the corner. So I think likely Blink from Bizzaro and probably just Stalker's Warp Prism, maybe eventually an Immortal from Kugel. But this couldn't get a little bit crazy. I mean, with the Robo, that will give Kugel to get Immortals, which will give him the better army in a straight-up fight, but obviously Blink Stalkers are more mobile, and they do afford you a high amount of micro potential. There's the Warp Prism, there's a Shield Battery, shoring up, making sure an Oracle doesn't kill him while he goes and tries to kill his opponent. Blink is getting Chrono boosted. And once this Warp Prism finishes, things are going to get fully into Crazy Town. They are. And I'm with it. I'm with it. It's games like these are always more fun when they get nice and crazy. Actually building a Stalker as his Warp Gate finishes. Actually gets a probe into the main. He gets a probe into the main. He sees 3 gates. He's going to see no tech, and I think Kugel is going to infer the proxy. Oh, does he see it actually? No, he doesn't see it. He almost sees it. Oh my goodness. 4 Stalkers being warped in at home here for Bizzaro. But Kugel is also pushing across the map. Looking at the Stalker count, it is 8-8. But critically, Kugel currently has the Warp Prism. And Bizzaro does not have Blink. That puts the micro potential solidly in his favor. They're going to cross paths here in the center of the map. A nice pick up there by Kugel, picking off 1 Stalker right away. It is now 8-7, picking off 1 for almost free, and it looks like he's going to try and go up onto this high ground, maybe towards the main. More Stalkers coming in here for Bizzaro, and that Blink is almost done, and once that Blink is done, I think the potential to trade goes a lot more into Kugel's favor. Here comes an observer across the map. It looks like Bizzaro is going to just... Oh, nope, he's going to shark around outside his natural. He's looking for those units of Kugel. He doesn't know that they elevated, and... Oh, Kugel's going to elevate her again, this time into the main. Bizzaro, meanwhile, cutting across the map. He's going to go for some aggression of his own, but Kugel is going to be at the base first, which means he's going to start doing damage first. And keep in mind, he still does have a little bit of a bank for himself. 3 Zealots coming in, and here we Go. Diving on the pylon. Boom. 2 of the 3 warp gates shut down. In the meantime, Bizzaro blinking across the map, and he's also going to start taking out absolutely everything. Now, the important thing here is the probes. Both players really want to get their probes out on the map, and oh, it looks like Bizzaro is going to be able to do that, and Kugel is not. With the blink, he's able to catch them. That's a huge advantage. That means that these buildings are pretty much what Kugel has, and Bizzaro, in the meantime, can even remake a Nexus. He's got enough money. I think that this favors Bizzaro. He's kind of turned it around a little bit. Oh my goodness. I think Kugel might get eliminated on buildings. Right? He's going to be able to kill, you know, probably these buildings faster than Bizzaro kills these, but that doesn't matter. And I think he knows that he's going across the map. He knows that he didn't get any probes out. He didn't get any probes out. The Nexus is rebuilt from Bizzaro. He's not revealed. And Kugel has to be crapping his pants a little bit. These are blink stalkers. That means that, you know, they can play the evasion game, and all he needs to do is kill these buildings. 2 zealots at home, still working on the rest of that. Both the simulators go down. It's just these 3 gateways left. Oh my gosh, did Kugel get sidetracked chasing a probe? Oh no, Kugel. Oh, you can't afford to do that. It might not have mattered, but anyway, GG is called as the last building goes down. What a quick little fun game. Alright, I'm going to throw my overlay up again and make sure to hide the game link before I get into the next one, but I'll be back soon with game number 4. Alright guys, we are back into game number 4 here between Bizzaro and Kugel. It is 2-1 in favor of Kugel right now. Again, the winner of this will get the chance to go on to the finals. The top right-hand corner, it is Kugel. And in the top left-hand corner, it is the green Protoss Bizzaro. And we are here on Parasite after a pretty crazy last game. It kind of ended in trading out the buildings, but Bizzaro was able to get his probes out on the map, and given that he also had blink, he was able to prevent those probes from escaping for Kugel and win the building race. Mirrored openings once again, and be interested to see what Bizzaro does here in this match. We saw it last game. He did the proxy Twilight, and that's a quick probe to be setting out on the map, so we'll keep an eye on him. But when his back's up against the wall and he has to win, you know, 2 more in a row, or 3 in a row in total, I think he might rely on, you know, these aggressive proxies just because he is so good at executing them. And he's taken out a lot of players using his kind of semi-unorthodox style. And okay, is this just a scout? I think it might just be just a scout. I got ahead of myself there a little bit. As it is, 2 gates and the cyber, a standard setup for both of these players. Yep, so Bizzaro, just gonna check out the main and say, okay, you're doing normal stuff. Kugel as well. Gonna get in there. see all the important things, the 2 gates, the 2 gas, the cyber, and the second pylon, and say, okay, you're doing normal stuff as well? Okay, cool. And it looks like it is going to be the Stalker Sentry from Kugel and the double Stalker from Bizzaro. Bizzaro looks like it will take a Nexus here. And Kugel as well. So, both these guys doing the old Protoss truce of, I won't attack you if you don't attack me. Okay, fair enough. Deal. Deal. And they are both going to get up to those Nexuses. Well, is Kugel? He is, right? Yeah, he is. He's just waiting on the money. There comes the Nexus. Worth noting that Bizzaro's is a little bit farther ahead, but Kugel's got a 2-probe advantage, so probably going to even out over the long term. Not going to be a big deal. Robo now coming down for Kugel. No Twilights yet on either side, which is a little bit surprising to me. There's the Twilight for Kugel. And I'm going to be interested to see what tech Bizzaro goes into. He's getting these 4 Stalkers pretty quickly. One, two, three, 4. And normally if you're going to get, all 4 Stalkers, you either think it's aggression or you want to get a little bit aggressive. Here comes this hallucinated Phoenix Scout for Kugel. It's going to see pretty much everything. Does it see the Twilight? Does not see the Twilight, interestingly, but it did see the gateway count. It did see the expansion and the number of probes there, so he knows, okay, Bizzaro's not doing anything too crazy. Just judging by what he's got. Blink is going to be the tech of choice here for Bizzaro. It's on its way. Probe, not sure what this probe is doing. Where are you going? Where are you going, probe? But Kugel really dotting his I's and crossing his T's here. I think the last thing he needs to do here is get that gateway count up a little bit higher. He's sitting here on 3 gates, whereas Bizzaro is about to go up to 5. And wow, really getting out all these observers. Oh, he's not going to see that. He's not going to see that. That is interesting. And it looks like we could just see a big blink stalker timing here from Bizzaro. On 2 more gates going down. There's no doubt in my mind that's what we're going to see. A huge line of gateways, but Kugel sees it coming. He scouts it right away. These gateways aren't finished yet. He sees the Twilight upgrading, he sees the gateway count, and he knows that there is going to be a big old blink stalker attack coming at him. And here is the first immortal. He starts the second one right away. Charge is not done yet, but it will be soon, about the same time as blink. And I really think he could use a few more shield batteries here. This is going to be a huge army from Bizzaro. Oh, goody goodness. Another hallucination going out, maybe looking for that army. But he's not going to see it. It's over here on the right side. And so many stalkers coming up here for Bizzaro. He's going to have an absolutely tremendous army. A second shield battery is coming in. I think that's really good for Kugel, but I'm just a little bit worried for him. He's going up to the Templar Archives. I'm not sure he can afford to do that yet. He needs more Immortals, and he needs Zealots. This is an overwhelming number of stalkers. Bizzaro comes in here. He's going to blink in. The shield battery's healing, but it can't out-heal this many stalkers, and both Immortals go down. And now Bizzaro, his blink is going to be off cooldown soon. He can start getting a little bit tricky with the micro maybe. Picks off almost all the units. Blinks away. And there's no Immortals on the way. This shield battery gets picked off. And Kugel's in a whole world of trouble. I'm not sure what he can do from this position. These stalkers are just going to blink all day. Chargelet's running on in, getting some swipes in. But there's so many more stalkers to follow this up. A huge, overwhelming army here. GG is called. We're going to go on to game number 5. I'm going to throw up my overlay. We'll get into the last one. What is going on, guys? Why did... Okay, there we go. Now it's showing. But we're here. We're going into game number 5. It's 2-2. And it's all going to come down to what we see here on Automaton. And interestingly enough, I know what builds both of these guys like to go for on Automaton generally. Because I've casted a fair bit of Bizzaro on this map, and I've played Kugel in PvP on this map enough times to know what he likes to do. And my guess is it's going to be pretty aggressive. But we're coming down to this last match, game number 5. It's 2-2. Again, we were missing that game too, because I didn't have to replay. Sorry about that. But regardless, we do know the score. And we do know that the winner of this match will go on to face Final Dash. Here we go. Still building. Yep. Still going to build the double gateway. Nothing too crazy from Kugel. And Bizzaro, we might see something a little bit crazy if my gut is right. No, not quite yet. It is going to be the double gateway. Okay, so nothing too crazy. Maybe my instincts lied to me. At least in far as what build I thought Bizzaro was going to do. But so far, everything looks normal with the possible exception of, well, he should get that second pylon here. Yep, everything looks normal from both of these guys. Even getting the scout, Kugel, making sure there's no fast nexus. Ooh, gonna trap the probe. That's a nice pick off in the early game. Shut down the information. Because generally, what's nice is, you know, if you keep that probe around a scout, it dies telling you what the first 2 gateway units were, which is always nice to know. It can generally be a decent indicator of what your opponent is doing. It's going to be Stalker versus Stalker. Once again, the safer option. And I think that means, but neither of these players want to lose to anything silly. Ooh, maybe I was right. Here we go. Bizzaro taking the gold base. Yup. You saw he was saving up the money, and he got it. Meanwhile, a Robo coming down for Kugel, and it looks like we might see a similar build to the one we saw him do on Blue Shift, which is a 3-gate Robo. And he's done this to me before, and he's actually beaten me with it, where you elevate your stalkers up into the main, you snipe the pylons, and then you win the game because you've depowered your opponent's gateways, and they can't really do anything because they don't have gateways. Looks like he's going to poke across the map. If he can see this gold base, that would be very, very important, as it's an important thing to note, because Bizzaro, if to be fair, Bizzaro defends this and he gets mining on this gold base, his income is just going to explode, and I think he's going to use that to just make a ton of gateway units. I've seen him do it before. Takes the fast gold base, hits a gateway timing, and then can just steamroll through some of his opponents with just like a crazy high gateway unit count at a timing where maybe he wouldn't be able to afford all of that if he didn't have the gold. Instant recall on a bunch of these probes. I like it. He's gonna, oh, he pearled it. He pearled it with 12 exactly. That's really cool. But here we go. We've seen it from Kugel. There's the Warp Prism. Here's 4 Stalkers. The Elevatoring is going to begin soon. He's going to warp in 3 more. And what's Bizzaro doing? He's got units, but they're over at this gold base. They're over at the gold base. This main is completely undefended. That could be potentially disastrous here for Bizzaro. And here comes the elevator. So it begins, picks up the 4, drags the other 3 across, and here Bizzaro is scrambling to get back to his base as 4 more stalkers are warped in, and Kugel is going for the pylons, and he's getting them. This is not looking good. He pulls the probes away as he realizes, I don't think I can fight this, and goes across the map with his own stalkers. And I think Kugel needs to identify that nothing's trying to defend this, and maybe warp in a sentry or something at home just to buy himself the time to get a recall. Maybe pick off this Nexus first. Oh, but there's no sentries at home. There are no sentries at home, which means that these stalkers are going to walk right in the front door and say, hey, nice to meet you. I can do some economic damage too. And keep in mind, most of the probes were kept alive. Oh, here is the recall. Kugel comes in. Oh no, so close to blocking it off with that warp in. If he'd gotten that, that could have been game-ending damage, as he would have picked off a few more stalkers. But still, a really rough position for Bizzaro here. He's really stuck on just this gold base. Although, does Kugel even know it? Kugel doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know it, and that's certainly not good. He's looking around for the base, but you gotta check the gold base first there, Kug. You gotta know that. It's automaton after all. And, I feel like he thinks that Bizzaro is dead. But Bizzaro is not dead. They're both on one base, and Bizzaro's got a gold base. He's doing fine. It is gonna mine out pretty quickly. And, I think overall, actually, with the oversaturation there, mineral income massively in Bizzaro's favor. And he's going to keep warping in units, and, that supply gap is equalizing, and I just feel like Kugel, how do you not check the gold base here, brother? You gotta know. You gotta know. To sell it looks like it might be coming across. It should scout it. Okay, so here, now he's going to figure it out, and I think that's going to trigger a lot of alarm bells, maybe to have him drop stalkers behind here and try and just disrupt the mining. He is taking an expansion of his own, so maybe just going to play defensively. But Bizzaro does not look like he wants to play defensively. He knows that it's really hard to transition out from this spot. Maybe he can take an expand down there, but more likely I think he's going to try and do a giant attack with a lot of these blink stalkers. Cybercore is actually getting attacked, and that's really annoying because that will halt his production of stalkers for the time. But what does Kugel have at home? He does have an immortal, but the immortal's sitting out in front. That's not where you want your immortal. Oh no, this could be bad. This could be bad. This is a lot of stalkers. They do have blink, so they can dive on the army. And Bizzaro sees it. He smells blood. He's going to go for it. Is he going to blink forward? He's picking off the immortal. It goes down. There's the blink in. He sees he's got the unit advantage, and he's going to clear up all of these stalkers, I think. And this is disastrous. Kugel doesn't have the units. He's trying to get up to Archons, but they're far away, and he won't even be able to get up enough of them. Every single stalker is going to die. GG is called, and Bizzaro is going to take that series 3-2. Well played to him. And some really crazy games. That was fun. But anyways, that is it for me. I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube for the benefit of Kugel and Bizzaro and our other RDIL participants that want to check it out. So if you're watching this, drop a like, drop a subscribe, It's just YouTube, it's free, it's just a click. But thank you for watching. Have a good one.